Hello, you beautiful soul. Welcome to the Mystic Visionary Podcast. This is your host, Thea, and I'm here to pick a word for the week. If you don't know what that's about, go listen to episode 1 and check that in the show notes. All right, I've got my little box, and I'm opening it up and taking out my crystal, and I'm going to shuffle around in here and pick the perfect word to talk about the new paradigm. All right, let me grab this word right here. And the word is attitude. Attitude. That's a good one. All right, I'm going to go meditate and I'll be back to talk about the word attitude. All right, I'm back. Wow, that took a little while because I think I have so many preconceived ideas about attitude. And I had that thought, attitude of gratitude, kept running through my head, attitude of gratitude. And I thought, well, that's great, but I think I need to go deeper than that. And when I first got the word, I always look it up just to get a meaning or to get an idea of what it means. And when I looked it up right after I picked it, the definition is called as, here's the definition. A manner of thinking, feeling, or behaving that reflects a state of mind or disposition. And I tried to just let that kind of be in the soup of that. And then the attitude of gratitude kept coming through and going through. And I was like, okay, what started showing beyond that was attitude creates a state of mind, and a state of mind creates a reality. And I think that's what we're talking about in the new paradigm with attitude, that thinking, feeling, behaving is an attitude. Like, think about elevate your attitude, or that person has a bad attitude. When you have a good attitude, there's this set of beliefs or feelings that go along with feeling good. And like, again, when that attitude of gratitude, if you have an attitude of gratitude, what are you doing? You're thinking about what works in your life. You're feeling grateful. You're feeling appreciative. And how do you behave in that way? You behave in this sense of reverence and appreciation and, just feeling or just behaving in a way that is like affirming. So that creates a state of mind. And that state of mind is a compilation of all those things, of the thinking, feeling, and behaving. And then suddenly that creates a reality. So really, this is all about recognizing that where attention goes, energy flows. And that's all about the law of attraction. That's all about reality creation. I've read a lot about reality creation. And basically, we talk about there are multiple realities and multiple dimensions. People are multidimensional beings. That's one of the 5 guiding principles of the new paradigm. And this idea that we can create a reality using our attitude. And so this attitude is a state of mind created by your thinking, your feeling, your behaving. So it would make sense that if you consciously choose an attitude and what that attitude looks like, the attitude of gratitude is just some words that people say, and it's something that I kind of focus on sometimes. It's like, if I put my attention on gratitude, then I'll be shown more things to be grateful for. So that's an attitude of gratitude. It's like, thank you. The more that I'm grateful, the more I have to be grateful for. So if I have an attitude of despair or fear, then I'm going to think thoughts, I'm going to have feelings, and I'm going to behave in a way that's going to enhance my sense of fear. That becomes a state of mind, and then that becomes your reality. So an attitude is like a really important thing. It's like, I guess in the new paradigm, the attitude is something that we curate. It's something that we focus in a conscious manner, to create a reality that we want to create. I know for me, I have something I've been working on recently, and I'm calling it my vibrant operating system. I believe that we have a natural operating system within all of us that is vibrant. It's like that part of us that's connected to the source and divine. It's vibrant. It's healthy. Our body knows how to, our body knows how to keep us healthy and the functions that go on. And that's this vibrant operating system. So if I have an attitude that I believe, that I embrace, or that I have this vibrant operating system, well, what does that feel like? What is that? What thoughts am I thinking? And what behaviors do I have? If I have an attitude of vibrance, then I'm going to encompass those things that mean I'm vibrant. I'm vibrant in my beliefs. I'm vibrant in my activities. I'm vibrant in my body. I'm vibrant in my thinking. I collect energy and I feel positive. And so then I have an attitude of that, which then creates a state of mind. And then my state of mind creates reality. And I think about all the ways I can bring that energy into my life. It's like, how can I bolster that attitude? What can I create? How can I create that attitude? And it's simple when I think of attitude of gratitude, because it's, it's kind of a cliche a little bit, but it's also uplifting. And it's like, I'm today going to have an attitude of gratitude, so that everywhere I look, I'm like, oh, I'm grateful for this beautiful sky. I'm grateful for these beautiful fall colors. I'm grateful for my feet that are carrying me, through this world. I'm greatly grateful for my eyes and my senses. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs. It's like, wow, you start to see all the things that you're grateful for, and pretty soon you have an attitude of gratitude. So if I replace the word gratitude with attitude of abundance, attitude of vibrancy, attitude of success, attitude of happiness, attitude of joy, attitude of bliss, attitude of wisdom, fill in the blank, attitude of whatever you are looking for. I have an attitude of blank. Then start building on that. And what are you going to call in your thinking, in your feeling, in your behaving, that aligns with that attitude that you want to create a state of mind? And I think that's what the new paradigm is about. But I think we each need to determine that for ourselves. It's like we can choose that consciously, or we can let outside factors affect our attitude and create it for us. Because I think that's what's happening now. I think we're unconsciously being, our attention is being unconsciously taken in a way that creates an attitude, and that attitude then creates our state of mind and our reality. So the question I have is, do you want that created for you, or do you want to be a conscious co-creator? And if you want to be a conscious co-creator, then you can stop for a moment and say, what kind of attitude do I want to create? Is this the attitude that I have right now? Is this serving me, and is it moving me forward in a direction that's going to meet my desires? If you want a life that's filled with abundance, you can't constantly put your attention on lack. You can't have an attitude of lack and limitation. I know for me, I have had that happen a lot in my life. And I didn't even realize it was an attitude. I just thought it was I was into the state of being part. It's like, well, this is just how my life is. There's never enough. I never had the job didn't pay enough, or I have this money, but then this bill comes up and takes away the money I have. And now I'm, there's always a lack. I always need more, etc., etc. Well, what I didn't put into place, or what this meditation sort of showed me, was that is an attitude, and that attitude leads to a state of mind. And so I have the power. This goes back to what I talked about in another podcast about we have control over our thoughts. That is our domain. Our mind is our tool for our thought process. It will run on automatic pilot if we allow it to, or you can use that tool to benefit yourself and create and co-create in a way that you choose. So you can create an attitude. You can choose an attitude. You can master an attitude. That is a simple truth. And so this is another one of those times where we use the tool of our mind as we take control of that. We say, okay, I am intentionally using my mind, the power and the tool that I have, and I am going to create an attitude of fill in the blank, whatever you want to create, the state of mind you want to create to get the reality that you're really interested in. It seems simple in one way, but it also seems really complex. I think the first step in this is understanding the power of our mind and our control over the mind. I go back to years ago. I was in a spiritual class in Ohio, and I had this great teacher, Vince was his name, and he would tell us, how many times have you said, well, I said to myself, self, and then blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, who is the I and who is the myself? I said to myself, well, that is this higher part of you talking to your mind. Your mind is like this subservient voice, the subservient processor that listens to your higher self when you consciously do it. When you're not consciously doing it, the mind will just do whatever it feels like doing. And normally what that is the mind is observing. So the mind is going outside, looking outward, taking in all the information, making some kind of choices or decisions or assumptions, and then it goes off and down its path. Well, we all know what it's like to go down the rabbit hole of some crazy scenario, worrying about the future or commiserating over the past. That's like your mind running amok. And that's what happens when you don't recognize and step back into that I am. The I am presence. The I am that I am, which is also one of the 5 guiding principles. So when you step into the I am, then you can look at your mind as the tool or the instrument or the co-creator that you can use to then make choices on a conscious level. And the unconscious running rampant brain gets reined in. And there is nothing wrong with that. You can let your mind have freedom whenever you choose to. And I do that all the time. That's called imagination. And I guide that, and I imagine, I come up with an idea and I go, let my brain go free and just imagine or create in any way it wants to. That's part of my whole gotta create thing. It's like turning ideas into things. It's allowing my mind to have some free reign to explore. But I, as this higher self, this understanding of the I, is the guide and aligns it. It's like, I call it the idea factory. And it used to be my idea factory would just like go on like 24/7. It was going, and there was no breaks. There was no time off. It just went berserk. And I imagined this factory with smoke coming out of it and all these, gears and things winding around. And then one day I realized, I am the CEO of the idea factory. Why am I letting my idea factory like go insane and crazy and run amok? And then I sat back and sort of took stock and recognized how unproductive my idea factory really was, because there was no guidance. There was nobody really in control. And that's when I had to realize, hey, I'm the CEO. I need to take control of this factory. And so I had shifts on my factory. I'm like, you know what, factory, it's time for you to close down now. Closing time, close down. Or I'm going to open the factory because I need you to do this. And sometimes I could put the factory to work on a certain thing. We're remodeling a house right now, and I have to have ideas and concepts for this design that we're doing, because we're just taking it down to redoing everything. So it's like I can take that time and go, okay, I'm opening the idea factory because we're working on the kitchen now, and we're going to remodel the kitchen. What do I want that to look like? And so the idea factory takes over. When I'm ready to stop that, I can stop it. The idea factory isn't just like going all crazy. So that's kind of like this idea of attitude. Your attitude is that same thing. You can either let it be swayed or let it run amok by these forces outside of you, because your brain is looking outside yourself, and you're looking at your culture and your neighborhood and the group of people you hang out with, the media, social media, and it is giving you information into your brain. Your brain is making decisions, and then it's creating an attitude for you. And suddenly you have this attitude of fear, you have this attitude of jealousy or resentment, or, again, fill in the negative blank. And then you're in a state of mind that creates that. And, then you're in that state of mind, and then your reality gets created from that. And you get, the more attention you give something, the more of it you get. So you start out with unintentionally creating an attitude that ends up creating a reality that you don't even want. So it's that first step of recognizing that your brain is your tool, and that your I am presence, that higher self, that higher part of yourself, we all have it. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, then you really need to dive into that, because there's a lot of places you can get information on that I am presence. Your higher self is this part of you that's your consciousness that goes beyond the physical. It's not part of your brain or your body. It's this essence of who you are. And that is who needs to take charge. That's your sovereign being. Not even your sovereign being, that's your sovereign tree. That is the essence of your divinity and your presence. And taking charge of that, and taking charge of your brain, and saying, okay, I'm going to create an attitude of whatever the attitude you choose. And like I said again, then you intentionally look at thinking, feeling, behaving. If I have this attitude, what does that look like? How does it play out in my life? I am going to orchestrate, create this attitude, and I'm going to buy into it. I'm going to own that attitude, and I'm going to let it flow. So in my idea of an attitude of vibrancy, my vibrant operating system, I look at all the areas of my life that affects. When I think about my health, when I think about my well-being emotionally and spiritually, when I think about my abundance, the flow of good into my life, my relationships, everything that is this vibrant operating system, like I see that as being fully alive in every area of my life. So if I have an attitude of vibrancy and I can already see these elements of that, I'm thinking thoughts of wellness. I'm thinking thoughts of love and connection. I'm thinking thoughts of creativity and self-expression. I'm thinking thoughts of all the adventures that I'm having in my life and all the beauty that I see everywhere I look. And what happens next is then that creates a state of mind. That's who I become. And then my reality is just a reflection of that. Attitude is huge. I love this word because I really dove into it and changed my mind about what I really thought. I keep thinking about, well, you got to change your attitude. Boy, you have a poor attitude. It's usually used in a negative connotation. How many times in our life have we heard that? Man, does that person have an attitude? And when we think about attitude, we're either like they're uppity or they have a bad attitude or they're, out of control, angry or something. It's like, yeah, that is an attitude. But that is an attitude being created from someplace inside somebody who's unaware, unconscious. And this, in the new paradigm, it's a complete opposite thing. It's like recognizing that you are in control of your attitude. This is part of our freedom of choice that we have as human beings that makes us so amazing. This is our choice. We have a choice every day, how to think, how to feel, how to act. We can create an attitude of whatever we choose and then live that. And pretty soon it becomes your reality. It becomes who you are. Like, man, that person's always got a good attitude, or wow, they really have an abundant life. What a great attitude they have. Well, that can be you. That can be me. That's what we need to do in the new paradigm, is be in control or take control, use our free choice to take charge of our instrument, our brain, and create the attitude that we want to have. So in a nutshell, there it is. An attitude creates a state of mind that creates reality. You either choose it yourself and take control, or you let the outside world create it for you. Nothing outside of you can do this to you unless you allow it. So there's my words for today, my wisdom for today on the word attitude. So as usual, thank you to whoever picked that word, and I'm glad that I picked it out of the box this week. All right, I'll be back next week with a new word. Have a great week. If you want to learn more about the 5 guiding principles of the new paradigm, you can listen to my audiobook, which is the Pocket Guide to the New Paradigm, which is a free audiobook on YouTube. I'll link it below. And the other thing that I have available is the Heart Archetype Quiz. It's a short quiz that answers the question, am I listening to the call of my heart? And you take the quiz and you'll discover what might be blocking you from living the call of your heart. And I think that's what we're all being called to do right now, is to look inside, connect with our heart, and follow its guide. If you want to take that quiz, there's a link right below. If you have any questions or comments, feel free. You can also leave those below.